Hey guys, Juice here. I am here to film an awesome video for you guys today. Today, I am here with this new setup that we talked about in my last video, which was my book club announcement. I'll leave that up above or down below in the description so you guys can go check that out. Today's video is very exciting. I see a lot of booktubers do this around New Year's, and it's where they go through their bookshelves. As you can see, my bookshelves are in shambles right now because I pulled every single book off, not every single book off, obviously. I pulled every single series off that I want to complete sometimes in the year of 2021. Some of these sequels are coming out in 2021, so that really helps me out with getting motivated of either rereading the first book again or just reading the first book for the first time. I think I've read all of these books that I mentioned, so hopefully I don't have to do any rereads. I have a stack of duologies right here next to me, and then the next stack I will be talking about is a series that has more than 4 books in it, and then the stack on my left right here is my trilogies that I need to complete. I'll talk about how many books are in the series, how many I need to read, and yeah, I'm gonna start with my shorter stack, which are series that are more than 4 books in their series. It will make sense once I talk about them. Let's just get started since this might be a long video for you guys today. I might split this up into 2 parts. I haven't decided. Might give my trilogies a video of their own because there's 3 stacks of trilogies and there's only 2 stacks of duologies and then 1 stack of series that are 4 or more books. Let's just get started. The first book is actually a series I discovered through booktube, and that is the Twisted Tales series by Elizabeth Lim and Liz Braswell, I believe is her name. I read 2 of these books in this series already and I really enjoy them. They were both 4-star reads for me. I actually read Straight On Till Morning in the month of December, so hopefully I'll talk about that in my December wrap-up, which will be coming to you next. There's gonna be 12 books in this series, which is crazy. I read 2 of them, so whatever that math is, there's 10 books left, I believe, that I need to read. The newest one won't come out to the fall of 2021, which is this year, obviously. It will be coming out in the fall sometimes. It's a Rapunzel retelling, so like, I love that Disney movie. I will totally be rewatching it in the fall and then reading its book. I still haven't watched the Mulan movie that came out this year. I hear mixed reviews about the movie, but anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. But I want to complete this series sometimes in 2021 and get my hands on the rest of them. I know I own Conceal Don't Feel by Jen Cartel, I think is the author's name for that one, and I still need to read that. I feel like that's a perfect book for the winter time, so hopefully I'll read this and complete this series sometime soon. The next series I need to complete, I read the first 3 books in this series. I still need to read 4 through 8, I think. I think there's going to be 9 books in this series, or 10. I get confused on the number. But I'm all the way up till book 4 right now, and that is the Keeper of the Lost City series by Shannon Messenger. I read Keeper of the Lost City, Exile, and Everblaze. Everblaze is my favorite so far. I was gonna read Neverseen, which is the 4th book in this series, in December when I had it checked out from my library, but my copy was due at the end of the month, so I sadly had to return it, but hopefully I can place it back on hold. This is a middle grade series, by the way, and it's such a fun middle grade series. It follows our 12-year-old main character named Sophie, and Sophie Foster has a secret. She is a telepath and has uniquely ability to hear the thoughts of anyone around her. Is something that she's never known how to explain, and has made her an outcast even in her own family. But everything changes the day she met Fitz, a mysterious boy who appears out of nowhere and also reads minds. She discovers there's somewhere she does belong, and staying where she is will put her in grave danger. In a blink of an eye, Sophia is forced to leave behind everything and start a new life in a place that is vastly different from her own. Sophie has new rules and skills to learn, and not everyone is thrilled with her homecoming. There are secrets buried deep in Sophie's memory, secrets that other people desperately would even kill for. If that sounds amazing to you, I'll leave an Amazon link down below for this series. Like I said, I read 1 through 3. I just need to read 4 through the end. Book 9 is scheduled to come out this year. Supposed to come out in the fall of this year, so I'm real excited to see how this series wrap up, and just excited to continue in my journey with this series. I took a little break from it because I read the 3rd book like in August, I think, which was so long ago. But yeah, this is a great middle grade series if you want to have like a new middle grade series to check out. This is definitely one of them. So the next book I have is actually a graphic novel series, and I don't really have a lot of graphic novels on my list here. I think I have like 1 or 2. And this one is the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. I just found out that there's going to be 5 books or 5 volumes to this series, and I would love more than just 5, but as of right now there's only 5. Book 4 comes out May 14th, I believe. Sometimes in May, I'm not sure exactly. The Heartstopper is about 2 boys who fall in love. I don't remember what the tagline was for this, but I read volume 1 and 2 in 2019 and loved it, and then I was waiting for the release of this one in 2020, and I loved this one even more. This one might be my favorite so far just because of where we went in this book. I read these graphic novel books in like one sitting, so I really can't wait for volume 4. I might save volume 4 for 2022 because that's when book volume 5 comes out. So I won't be able to complete this series in 2021, but I would like to get caught up with the 4th installment. I love how all of these are paperbacks, so we'll see if they will be staying up or not. The next series I have is actually my other graphic novel series that I was just talking about, and that is the Mortal Instruments graphic novel series by Cassandra Clare. I'm not sure how many is going to be in this series. As of now, there's going to be 5 again. I don't know if they're going to do more because there's definitely no way they can wrap the series up in 5 volumes. I reread 1 through 3 this year in anticipation for volume 4, which I read last year. I think I read it in November or December. I can't remember exactly. But I really enjoyed all of these. These are all like 5-star reads for me. This literally is just an adaptation of Cassandra Clare's New York Times bestselling series, which is The Mortal Instrument, starting with City of Bones, which I have over here on my blue shelf. I love Cassandra Clare. I will support her no matter what. I do know she has another volume 5 of this will be coming out this year, and then she also has Chain of Iron coming out, which I'll talk about that in my series I Want to Start video. But yeah, super excited for the 5th installment. I anticipate these the most just because these are like the only graphic novels that I like and read. So yeah, this is another series. I believe there's either 5 or 6 books coming out in this graphic novel series. I don't know how much is coming out. That was a complete sentence. Next book series I have going on this list is the School for Good and Evil series. I only am picking up the ones I most recently read, so this was the most recent one I read. I still need to read A Crystal of Time, which is book 5, and then I still need to read One True King, which just came out last year, and it actually won the Goodreads Choice Award for the best middle grade category, I believe. So congrats, Simone Chanier, if that is true. I'll double check my sources down below. The School for Good and Evil series followed 2 main characters. We follow Sophie and Agatha as it's kind of like a Hogwarts school-esque almost, and we follow these 2 ladies, and one of them thinks they're going to be, Sophia is thinking she's going to be in the school for good, and then Agatha thinks she's going to be in the school for evil. But when they get there, they switch point of views, I guess, or like switch positions, I can say. And so one goes into the opposite school, the other goes into their opposite school, and we just follow their whole journey of them going through these trials and errors. And again, another great middle grade series to binge read. All 6 of them are out, so I'm definitely binge reading the last 2, which is A Crystal of Time and One True King. Like I said, One True King just came out this past summer, so I still need to get my hands on it, and hopefully I will love book 5 and 6 as much as I loved this whole series. This whole series has either been 5 stars or 4 stars for me, so I really can't wait to see how this author wraps up this series. Count how many times I say the word series, because I don't know how many it's been already. The next one I have to talk about, I knew they won't stay. The next one I have to talk about, let's see if this one will stay this time. Nope. Oh man, that's sad. Oh well. I'll leave this one there. There we go. That's how we make it today. That was so unnecessary. The next series I need to talk about today is the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan. I just need to read why am I keep saying volume? I just need to read book number 5, which is The Tower of Nero, which came out this past fall, which I still haven't read yet. I was kind of waiting on my friend Taylor to buddy read that one with her, but apparently she already read it and she cried in it. So I'm scared to read book 5 now. But this whole series is complete, and The Tower of Nero is sadly Mr. Rick Riordan's last book in the whole Percy Jackson universe. So that's also another reason why I haven't picked up The Tower of Nero yet. But I just know I will love it because I really love this. I hated how this one ended. There's a huge cliffhanger here, so I'm shocked that I haven't picked up book number 5 yet in this series. But hopefully I will complete this sometimes in 2021. Also, another great middle grade series. I love how we're starting off with our middle grades. I did not plan for that. But another great middle grade series to check out. The next series is an adult fantasy novel. I believe there's going to be 6 or 7 books in this series. I'm not sure how many correctly. Y'all been telling me to read this series for quite a while now. I kept getting comments of, read this series. Have you started this book yet? What book are you on? For your information, I need to read the whole entire series. I read book 1 in August of last year and I loved it. Was I going to read book 2 immediately? Yes. Did that happen? No. And that is the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, or also known as The Final Empire. Like I said, read the first book back in August. I still need to read book 2. I might reread this or check out book reviews for this one just so I can get a refresher on it. But I love this. I did read this in the bathtub, so that's why the cover is like kind of bent. But I am real happy with how this one turned out, and hopefully I will love book 2 as much as I loved this one. This one was like a 3.5 out of 5 stars for me. It wasn't quite a 5 stars like I thought it would be, but I am happy. This has been a series a long time coming for me. I've been meaning to read Brandon Sanderson. My first book actually was Elantris, which I have right here. I read this last year during the summertime and absolutely loved it. I think I love this one a bit more though. So if this is part of a series, let me know because I would love to read the sequel to it. But I'm so excited to continue on with reading the series for the first time. I am taking my time with the series because book 7 probably won't come out till this year or next year. I don't know when exactly. I do know there's another Brandon Sanderson series on this list. But yeah, Mistborn is the next series I would like to complete. Next on my list I have is the Miss Peregrines Home for Peculiar Children series by Ransom Riggs. This is the 4th installment in this series. I really am happy how this turned out. I can't wait to read book 5. I still need to read book 5, which I own on my TBR shelf over there. And then book 6 I just pre-ordered on Amazon. Oops. But book 6 comes out this year, so I will be binge reading book 5 and book 6 of this year. and I will probably be bawling my eyes out because I wouldn't have read this series if it wasn't for Jesse over at Jesse the Reader. I've been watching his channel for years now, and he is just like amazing at book reviews. There's 6 books in the series, obviously. Book 6 comes out February 23rd of this year, so definitely go pre-order it if you have caught up on the series. Again, I might reread A Map of Days because I read this during an earthquake last year, and that was like a random weird memory I have with this book. But this is just a creepy gothic horror, not even horror I think, but it's like a good book to read in October is what I'm trying to say. I love this whole series. They've either been 4 stars or 5 star reads for me, so hopefully I'll love 5 and 6. The second to last series I have in this stack is the Ember Quartet series. Come on guys, you saw this coming. I fell in love with the Ember Quartet the year it came out. I read an Ember of the Ashes 3 times now, and this was my 3rd or 2nd time reading A Torch Against the Night. All I need to read is A Sky Beyond Storm and A Reaper at the Gates. A Sky Beyond Storm just came out in December though, so I'm giving myself leeway here because the 4th and final installment just came out this past year. So now that 3 and 4 are out, I will definitely be binge reading. I can't believe I did that with the last couple of books that I talked about on this list. But yeah, I can't wait to complete the series. I am scared to read this because Sabata here is brutal, and I haven't cried in this book series yet, but I hear I'm going to in the last 2 installments. So I'm nervous for that, but oh well. We'll see how it turns out. Hopefully I'll get around to A Reaper at the Gates and A Sky Beyond Storm in January this month because I really want to read those last 2 books in this series. I said that was going to be my first book series completed in 2021, and it hasn't happened yet. So the last book I have in this stack is a middle grade series, and technically I should have showed this off in the beginning, but that is the Arusha Series by Roshani Chakshay. This is a 4-book series as of right now, but Roshani Chakshay announced that there's going to be 5 books in the series, which is amazing because I was so scared for this book series to end this year. Book 4, right? Book 4 comes out this year. I believe it comes out in April, so I'm so excited. Again, I'm going to reread this whole book series because there's 3 books out. Book 3 I read last year and really enjoyed. If you love, this is part of the Rick Riordan Presents Imprints company, whatever you want to call it, that he has. And I just love each and every book that I have read from the imprint. So keep it up, you guys. It's really amazing. And hopefully I will love the 4th installment as much as I love the 3rd one. And so that is where I'm going to end it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. It would be my duology, me talking about my duologies. And then part 3 would be me talking about my trilogy. So I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes. So the next stack that I will be talking about is my duologies. I have a stack of books that I read the first book of the duologies in, but I'm waiting on the sequel, so I'll talk about those. And then I have a stack of duologies that are completed, and so I'll just show those. I'll probably show that first since that's my shortest out of these 2 stacks that I have. So yeah, let's just get started. The first duology on this list is the Grace and Fury duology by Tracy Binghart. This book series I got introduced to from Owl Crate. Look at this gorgeous Owl Crate copy. This is Grace and Fury, which is book 1, and then book 2 is Queen of Ruin. The only one I need to read in this duology is obviously book 2. I read book 1 when it came out, loved it. I was really shocked by it. It reminded me a lot of the Hunger Games, just with the competition aspect in it. And I was really shocked that Owl Crate didn't really do anything for the sequel, but like their cover somewhat still matches with the sequel. So I'm really happy with how the covers turned out. I know she has a new book series starting this year, so I'm real excited to see what that's all about, but I told myself I wanted to complete this duology first, so all I need to do is read book 2. I'm really annoyed of how much duologies I have on my shelf, and I'm like, Drew, just read book 2 already, come on. So I'm probably going to reread book 1. I'm going to say that now with all my duologies. I'm going to reread book 1 first and then dive into book 2. I don't know when all this series would get completed this year, but like I said in the very beginning of this video, these are just like some series that I can look back on and be like, oh yeah, I still need to complete that, or oh yeah, I still need to reread the first whatever numbers in that series. So this is the first duology on my list. This is a YA fantasy duology, and the first book follows two sisters. It says she's balanced on prophecies as wind blows and crushes curls a real cliff. There was a difference between defiance and outright rebellious. Could she do this? Could she jump over the ledge? Maybe not for herself, but for her sister, yes. It was so amazing. I was really shocked by the twist and ending of this book. Sorry if I had that weird reaction to that word. I haven't know what that word meant. But yeah, first duology on this list. I read this one, still need to read this one. Let's see if these will stay up since they're hardcovers. Look how pretty that looks. The next duology on my list I own book 1 and 2. I just need to read book 2, and that is the Crown's Game duology by Evelyn Skye. The first book is the Crown Game. The second book is The Crown's Fate. I loved the first book. Again, I'm going to be repetitive in this video. I loved the first book. I actually recently reread the first book last year in anticipation for me to read the sequel. The sequel's been out since 2018. What the heck are you doing? 2018 and this book been out, and I remember going to the bookstore and buying this probably not the day of the release, but like the week of the release date. I remember going to the bookstore and buying the sequel with my friend Taylor. And also I know Jesse from Jesse the Reader is mentioned in the acknowledgement. I forgot why he was mentioned, probably because he did an early book review for this duology. But again, 2-book series. Why haven't I not completed this yet? Even though I love the first book, I am really hoping I will love the second book. This is a YA fantasy series that is set in Russia, so if you love that aspect of the stories, you would definitely love this. And of course it has something to do with game competitiveness, competition. So yeah, I love this. The audiobooks are narrated by Steve West, who recently became a favorite audio narrator for me. So hopefully I'll get my hands on the audio for book 2 and just, like I said, reread book 1 and then read book 2 for the first time. But yeah, another duology that's on my list. Let's put the first book here, second book there. The next duology I have on my list is another one that I got from Owl Crate, and there's a cover change for this, and you'll see why in a few minutes. I read the first book actually last year. This book went out, the first book of the series came out in 2019, 2018, I can't remember exactly, but that is the Mirage series by Simonia Dodd. Again, like I said, I got this first book from an Owl Crate, so look how pretty that is. It's all purple. And then there's come a cover change with people on the cover. I really don't like people on the cover that much, but with this one, I'll accept it. But all I need to do, I read this one last year, gave it 4 stars. I was really happy with how it turned out. I just need to read book 2. So, another young adult fantasy series, and I believe all of these are going to be young adult, if not middle grade too, because I mostly read young adult and middle grade series. Oop, that would bug me so much. Yeah, another duology that I need to complete. The next one on my list is actually an adult duology, and that is the Villain series by V.E. Schwab. We have Vicious, which I read a couple years ago, and I loved it. And then I started reading Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, but I never finished it for some reason. I got about like 200 pages into it, and I was really enjoying it at the time. I just don't know why I didn't complete it in the year I started it. Funny thing about both of these books I bought with my friend Taylor. This one I bought as a birthday gift to myself. And then this one I bought because it's a signed copy from my local Barnes & Noble, which I was shocked that it was signed. So there's Schwab's signature right there. But yeah, I know this is a very popular duology on BookTube, and I love the first one. So again, I might need to reread the first one in order to read the sequel again. So I will be rereading this. This is actually a video that I want to make of first books in their series that I want to reread in 2021. That will be coming sometimes in 2021. Look forward to that. But yeah, I love the first book. I gave it like 5 stars, but I don't know why I didn't finish the second one when I was reading it. But I really can't wait. This is literally sitting on my shelf only because I'm scared to finish this, because B.E. Schwab loves to end series on a cliffhanger. So hopefully that doesn't happen with this one. But I also heard mixed reviews for Vengeful. I heard some people love it, some people hate it. But hopefully, like I said, I will love it. And also, people have been comparing this cover to the new like Black Widow movie poster that came out recently, and I can kind of see that now on camera. At first I wasn't like sure about it, but now I can kind of see that. So off topic, but next duology that I need to complete. You won't see the books, but the next duology that I own both books to their series of, and I read the first book, loved it. This one I actually read very recently, so I'm going to give myself some slack for this one. I did start the sequel again, but I don't know why I didn't finish it, because the first book was such a fast and quick, easy read. This is also an LGBT novel. It has 2 female friendship who comes from friendship to love, and that is the Cry's War duology by Nina Valeria. I'm not sure how to say her last name correctly. Look how shiny these covers are. Book 2 came out in September of last year, and book 1 came out in September of 2019. I haven't read it until last year because I just needed a quick, fast sci-fi novel, and I heard that's exactly what this was, and it was. I literally, as soon as I finished this book, I immediately pre-ordered book 2 because of how good this book was and how much the cliffhanger was in this one. So if you own both of these series, this is a perfect duology to binge read. I won't be rereading book 1 for this series. I will be restarting book 2 just because I don't remember what I read of it now, because it's been since September since I started this book. So I'm definitely going to restart book 2, and hopefully this will be another series I will complete in 2021. Sci-fi series, another YA duology, and yeah, I'm real happy with this. I'm hoping I will complete this sometime in the new year. And now getting on to the stack of books that I have. The first book to their duology, but not the second one. So all of these, I'm pretty sure I read all of these. Wow. That never happens. I read all of these books. Some of them are from Owl Crate. Some of them are just books I got from like Barnes & Noble or Amazon. And the first one is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Severa. I actually never knew this was a series until they announced there was going to be a sequel coming later this year. The sequel to this is called Here to Us, which sounds amazing. I love these 2 characters. I love Ben and Arthur. They were just the cutest couple that I read this year. And obviously, if you couldn't tell, this is an LGBT contemporary novel, so we love reading those. I literally flew through this during an exam week in my college class, which I probably shouldn't be reading in my college class, but it was fine, whatever. But I can't wait to reread this. I'm actually rereading this later this year. If you saw my book club announcement, we picked the sequel for this one later this year, so hopefully I'll love the sequel as much as I think I will. Again, I might reread the first book and then read the sequel, because this one was definitely a 5-star read. And I mean, just look how cute they look. I'm so happy that there's going to be a sequel for this, and thank you Epic Reads for providing another YA contemporary that I love. Next duology that I need to complete, I believe book 2 comes out either in March or later in the year, and that is Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. This one I actually got last year in January from Owlcrate, and I read it during the summertime. I believe I read this in July or August. I really enjoyed this. This was definitely something that I wouldn't pick up on my own, and it was quite an interesting story. It's like a sci-fi novel with a little hint of fantasy. It's a inspiration of the Court of Monte Cristo, all about revenge. When everything is taken from you, what option left is there than to go after the man who ruined your life? Like, that just sounded amazing. I was actually shocked that this was an Owlcrate book last year, so I'm so happy I read it. Hopefully they'll do something for book 2. If not, that's okay, because I believe the cover somewhat matches still. So hopefully I will love book 2 as much as I think I will. I'm going to repeat that sentence throughout this whole video, so sorry about that. The next series I have, if you love like a mermaid type, pirates type of book, this is definitely a book for you. I buddy read this with my friend Heather last year, and I gave it 5 stars. I actually already bought the sequel to this. I bought this because Owlcrate is doing an exclusive box for it. So that is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I almost said the title of the sequel, which is All the Tides and Fate. The sequel to Scavenge the Stars is Revenge of the Dark, I believe, if I remember correctly. I forgot to mention that. All the Tides and Fate is the sequel to this one, and it's a pirate mermaid set in the oceans type of story, which I didn't knew going into it. I was going into this one very blind, but look at this cover. I loved it. My friend Heather loved it. It's a princess, pirate, stowaway, mermaid. The crew makes the queen. On the back of the cover, that's what it says. This was such a great debut novel. Is it the best one I read in a while? Yes, I would say so. I was hooked from page 1, and I kept flipping the pages. I actually believe I finished this before Heather, or Heather finished this one before me. But we both loved it, and we both bought book 2, which comes out actually next month in February. So I might read this one in February and then pick up book 2, because it's been a while. I read this super early on. I think I read this in like March during quarantine last year. So hopefully I'll love the sequel as much as I think I will. I really hope I enjoy the sequel to this, because if I don't, that would be kind of sad and kind of a waste of money. The next duology on my list is another book from Owlcrate, and that is We Hunt the Flames by Arusha Series. I probably butchered this author's name. This is a debut novel as well. Owlcrate has been putting in a lot of debut authors in their boxes, and I really love that, because I also love supporting new authors in the world. I believe this was their 2018 pick, though, if I'm not mistaken, or 2019 pick, and I read this in 2020. Again, I think I read this the same month as All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, because I think March was like an Owlcrate readathon or something. I also believe I buddy read this with my friend Heather, if I'm not mistaken. I'll ask her when I text her later tonight. But yeah, the sequel to this is We Freed the Stars, which actually it comes out not this Tuesday, because a lot of books already came out this Tuesday, but it will be coming out next Tuesday as you guys are seeing this. And I already pre-ordered the ebook of this because of $9.99. So gosh, hopefully I won't have any more interruptions from my phone call to my family. I love my family dearly, but it kind of annoys me when they interrupt me filming. Anyways, on a lighter note, next duology that I need to complete. I read the first book of this, and I already read this with my friend Lori, and we both loved it. I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I changed my rating after I read it, and that is Set Fire to the Gods by Sarah Rosh and Kirsten Simmons. I don't know who Kirsten Simmons is or was until I read this book. And I read a series by Sarah Rosh before her, Set Fire. Nope, that's this series. I read the Snow Like Ashes trilogy from her when that came out years ago. That was one of the older books here on BookTube. This one, if you love the Ember and the Ashes series, you would definitely love this. I feel like this might be the new Ember book in the YA world because that series just wrapped up last year. The sequel to this is scheduled for August 8th, or no, August 3rd, I mean. So hopefully it comes out this year unless it gets pushed back again. This one came out last year during August, so I'm sensing a theme here. Read the first book, really enjoyed it, gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It definitely gives me a whole lot of Ember vibes, but a bit lighter on the Ember side because Sabatier was really brutal with her characters. These follows Ash Maddock, or Maddock, I don't know how to say his name properly. Ash Maddock, it just followed these two couples who Ash is a descendant from a long line of gladiators, and she's known the brutal nature of war firsthand. But after her mother dies in the arena, she vows to take action against her fire god, whose temper has stripped her country of its resources. Maddock grew up fighting on the streets to pay his family taxes, but he hides a dangerous secret. He doesn't have the earth god's power like his opponents. His element gift is something else, something that hasn't been seen in centuries. Like, if that sounds amazing to you, definitely check this out. This was another great novel that I read from Epic Reads. So, Epic Reads, your guys are just killing it. The next one I actually buddy read with my friend Lori as well. That's pretty funny. I buddy read Set Fire to the Gods, this one, and the next series the next duology that I'm gonna talk about, and that is Fable by Adrienne Young. Look at this Bookstagram photo. Fable is the first book in a new pirate novel series. The second one is called Namesake. I actually own the arc of this one. I believe it comes out end of March though, so I don't really have to read it till like February or beginning of March if I wanted to. So I'm so excited to jump into the sequel. I actually started the sequel already. I'm like 10-15% into it, I think. I can't remember exactly. But I'm really enjoying the sequel so far. Hopefully it would pick up because it's a little slow for it to be a sequel. This one wasn't my favorite book of the year last year, sadly. I will be making the worst of book of 2020 if you guys want that list. But I sadly didn't really love it, but I love this cover. It's so pretty. The cover for Namesake actually like has her other side of the face, I believe. I'm not mistaken. But this is a book about our main character named Fable, and it says, "Welcome to the world of dangerous, world made dangerous by the sea and by those who wish to profit from it. When a young girl must find her place and her family while trying to survive in the world. For 17-year-old Fable, the daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows, the sea is the only home she has ever known. It's been 4 years since the night she watched her mother drown during the forgiving storm. The next day, her father abandoned her on a legendary island filled with thieves and a little food." That's all I read for this. If that sounds interesting to you, read this book. It was a Reese Witherspoon book club pick, which it was amazing that Reese picked this out. Like I said, sadly didn't really enjoy this one, but hopefully I will be loving the sequel much more than the first book. The next duology I buddy read with my friend Lori as well. I love this one the best out of all the books that we read last year, and that is Pialosantiago and the River of Tears, another Rick Riordan present imprint book company. I still don't know what the correct term for that is. Oh man, I really love this one. I was laughing out loud. I was like turning the pages so quickly because of how fast-paced it was. I read this in November for Believe-a-thon, which I never did a wrap-up for that, but it's too late now. I mentioned that I did Believe-a-thon in my November wrap-up though. I really enjoyed this. It was actually quite funny. I won't spoil it of where it is, but like halfway through the book, one of the characters who's not really a kid, but she was an adult character that we meet in here, and she said the word badass. And I was like, whoa, this is a middle grade book, Taylor. Because this is written by Taylor K. Mehej. I'm probably butchering the author's name, but like I literally texted Lori after I read that sentence. I was like, whoa, did you saw that? Because this is a middle grade, and I'm shocked Disney let her put that word in there. I never read anything by Taylor K. Mehej, so she's definitely an author that I want to read her backlist titles of in 2021. I actually own the We Set the Dark on Fire, the first book of that series, right here. I showed that off in my library haul. So hopefully I'll read that sometime soon and love it. Because I really enjoyed this one, even though this one was a middle grade. But we love middle grades. I support them no matter what. And there's also another Rick Riordan Presents book in this whole video. So let's go into that series. This is another duology, obviously, and that is Sal and Gabby Breaks the Universe by Carlos Hernandez. I reread this one last year in 2020, and I loved it. I first read the series this first book in 2019. I borrowed it from the library. I loved it so much that I bought this off of Amazon last year. I saw that the hardcover was on sale for like $5 for a hardcover. I was like, yes, please. And I wanted to get the paperback at Barnes & Noble last year when I went book shopping with my friend Taylor. But the paperback had a different cover than this one, because this is the cover that I know and love from. So I really enjoyed this. This is a middle grade series, the first book in the duology. The second book is already out, so hopefully I'll give this one another reread and then pick up the sequel. Or I'll just watch book reviews on this and see if I remember what happened. It was so fun. This is own voices. It was rep for anxiety, and I believe, what's that? I can't remember exactly. I'll leave it down below. But I think the character had ADHD as well, so like had to take a lot of meds for that. So it was definitely interesting to see all that in a middle grade series, and I really love Sal and Gabby. Gabby made me laugh the whole entire time. She was like the star of the show, basically. The person who narrated the audiobook was really amazing as well. He just had the perfect like voice for this middle grade series, so I can't wait. Hopefully I'll pick up the sequel and love it as much as I love this one. I gave this one 4 stars when I first read it, and then when I recently reread it last year, I gave it 5 stars. So can't wait to read the sequel sometime soon. The next duology I am hoping to reread, because the sequel to this is our book club pick for the month of April, I believe, and that is King of Scars, also known as the Nikolai series by Leigh Bardugo. You guys must read this series. If you haven't read the Grisha books, read the Shadow and Bone trilogy first, and then read Six of Crows, and then you can finally get to this, because there will be spoilers for not only the Six of Crows series, but also for Shadow and Bone. I love this series. I won't say what this one is about much. Just know it follows Nikolai from the Shadow and Bone series, and then there's also a character we follow from Six of Crows, who I won't say because it's a fan favorite. But yeah, I read this last year. This was part of my 5-star prediction TBR that I made in 2019, and I finally got around to it in 2020. I give this 4 stars. Actually, I really enjoyed this. I buddy read this with my friend Heather, according to my sticky note in here, and according this is part of my 5-star TBR vid, and it's book number 13 of the year, which is crazy because I thought I read this later than earlier. But I really enjoyed this. I can't wait to reread this year. I'm actually hoping to read the Grisha trilogy first, and then jumping into the series. So definitely join us for our Queer Reads book club pick for the month of April for Rule of Wolves, which I believe comes out in March. But we wanted to save that for April since there's not a lot of new releases coming out in April. So yeah, this one is a book club pick for Queer Reads, and I hope you will join us for that. Another book that is a book club pick for us, we will be reading the sequel to this in the month of August. I believe this comes out in the sequel to this comes out in August, and that is Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. I don't know what the name of this series is called. I don't even know if there is a name to this, but just look how pretty this is, and these foil edges. Like, yes, this is such a great I don't know if this is a debut novel. I believe this is a debut novel because I got this from Owl Crate. Imagine if you woke up in the year of 3102 and everyone's keep calling her goddess when Andrea went into a chronic sleep for a trip across the galaxy. She expected to wake up in 100 years, not 1,000 years. Dun dun dun. If you really love the Aurora Rising series, the Illuminate series, those are like the only two series that I can think of that you guys will love for this one. The sequel to this, like I said, comes out in August, and that would actually be our queer read book club pick for the month of August as well. So join us if you want to read along with us, but definitely read the first book before you read the sequel to this series. So this series does come out, the sequel to this does come out in 2021, which is fantastic because this will be a series that I can mark off my list. Take a breather and let's continue with these last three duologies that I need to read. One of these is a book club pick for the month of November. The other two I've already read with my friend Lori. I really am super excited for all these sequels to come out. Actually, these last three duologies I'm talking about here today, all their sequels come out in 2021, and we just got a cover reveal for one of them, and I'm really excited for that. The first one that I read is going to be our November pick for queer read, and that is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the first book in a duology, obviously, and I'm so excited for this sequel. I read this last year. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't a 5-star read like I thought it would be, but I was really happy with how it turned out. I believe this is in one of my reading vlogs on my channel. I just can't remember which reading vlog I put it in, but I just remember talking about it in one of my reading vlogs. This says, two sisters, one brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and a romance ensued. This was a novel dealing with angels and demons and vampires and hell itself, obviously. This is from the New York Times #1 best-selling series of The Stalking Jack the Rippers. And it was so good. It was definitely different from Stalking Jack the Ripper, which I loved. I completed that series last year, or I completed it in 2019. The years are blending together. But I really can't wait for the sequel. Kingdom of the Curse come out in October, I believe. So hopefully it will come out this year. If not, it might get pushed back, which would suck, because like I said, the sequel to this will be our November book club pick for Queer Reads book club. And then these last two duologies that I have to talk about, I buddy read them with my friend Lori, and I believe we each gave these 5-star reads. This one we read in the month of December, so it's still very fresh in my head. And this cover reveal for the sequel just dropped, and that is The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a YA mystery thriller novel that was really, really good. It kept you turning the pages. I was so enthralled with this book. It says secret passages, elaborate riddles, billions at stakes, let the games begin. And it says Avery Graham has a plan for a better future, survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hathorne dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. The only catch, Avery must move into his spiraling mansion full of secret passages, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately for Avery, Hathorne House is also occupied by the family that Tobias Hathorne just disinherited. That's all I will read for that. It was really amazing. I listened to this via audiobook too, so like the narrator for this, which is fantastic for it, and I was really happy with this. This is one of my last 5-star read for 2020. So hopefully I will love the sequel. The sequel to this comes out in August, and my friend my friend Lori and I will definitely be buddy reading the sequel because we love the first book so much. And then the other first book in a series that my friend Lori and I read last year was Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. Marie Lu is currently writing the sequel. There's no title for this one yet, just because she's still currently in the process of writing it, which is okay because she still has time. The book isn't released until like November, which sucks that it has to be towards the end of this year. But I'll patiently wait for the sequel because, as you can see, I got many series to binge read and hopefully complete this year. Sky Hunter was just an amazing book. I believe this was number 5 in my favorite list of 2020. If I'm wrong, let me know down below. But I did feature this on my favorite list of 2020. I had to split that video into 2 parts, just like I'm doing this one. But yeah, I'm real happy with how this one turned out. Like, look how cool that looks. I don't think I ever seen a book like that. This cover is so pretty. The book inside was pretty. This is it says, in a world broken by war, a team of young warriors is willing to sacrifice everything to save what they love. Yeah, sounds really amazing. My name is, on the back it says, my name is Talon. I'm a striker from Mara. I don't know how to say that correctly. I'm a striker from Mara, the last free nation of the side of the sea. We are legendary bringers of death, assassins of monsters, and the only thing standing between our home and annihilation. Dun dun dun. This sounds really good. This also kind of reminded me a lot of in the Ember Quartet series, just because it's kind of in the same country, I guess. I don't know. I really enjoyed this. This was also one of my newer 5-star read in the year of 2020, and like I said, this made it onto my favorite list. So there we have it. So yeah, that is the first part of this series I need to complete in 2021. I talked about the series that has 4 or more books in them, and then I talked about my duology, and then part 2 would just be my trilogies, because there's 3 stacks of trilogies right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you read any of these books down below in the comments. Sorry this is such a long video. I'll try and edit most of it down. If not, I'll just leave it the link it is. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, let me know down below which of these you read, which of these I should read first. Are any of these series your favorite? Because a lot of them were my favorite that I mentioned. And how many series do you need to complete? I don't know how many I showed off in this first half of the video. I'll count them off when I'm editing and leave the number either on the screen here or I'll put it down below. But yeah, I will go now, and thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great day or night, and I'll talk to you guys later down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the description box for my social medias. That will be linked down below as well. I'll also leave Heather's and Lori and Taylor's Instagram down below, the 3 lovely ladies that I always mention in my videos. I'll also leave our Queer Reads book club announcement down below in case you missed it. And I think that's all for the promo. Please hit that like button, give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn your notification on so you don't miss any new videos coming from me soon, and I'll talk to you guys later down below. Bye.